How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Exela. I know many of you have been asking me questions like, Dre, where do you see the stock going? Have you been seeing the recent run up? I saw that it is gaining some momentum in the after hours as well. We'll talk about it further in the video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Exela. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at 78 cents, being down 0.77%. On the low, it tested 75 cents, and then on the high, testing 86 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 82.606 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 111.357 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but keep in mind we didn't see much change in the stock whatsoever. And then when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 53.62. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, but we are above the 21-day EMA. So the first thing that I want to point out to you, what you want to see from Exela is being able to hold up the 75-cent level. That was an area of support on the day. So going into tomorrow, you're going to want to see it hold up, and then you want to see if it can make that pop where it had resistance at 86 cents. If it's able to pass this, this is where you look forward to seeing some strong price action above 90 cents, and then you want to see if it can get past right around 94 cents. If it's able to pass 94 cents, then the next level you want to look out for is just above that $1 area, and that's where this stock can really start taking off, especially if buying volume does come into play. Also, we have to take into consideration it is looking very bullish. It's had a strong run up all the way when it dipped from 34 cents, so this can easily continue because we are seeing higher lows on our chart. You guys know how much I love seeing that. It shows us that there's demand and there's a lot of traders that are looking to push this stock back up. I know there's been some heavy price targets being thrown out there, being at around $40 and $50 and so forth. But from what I am seeing so far, if it can continue this uptrend, then I'd want to see us get to at least around $1.34 sometime next week. I think that is very doable, and then we can see where we could go from there. So let's see how it performs going into tomorrow, but if it does decide to have a pullback and 75 cents doesn't hold, then I'm going to be looking forward to seeing some support right here at this 70-cent level. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Exela. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings, we have here for February the 3rd, a closed position from Northwestern Mutual Fund Management Company. And then also for February the 1st, we see Cube Research and Technologies Limited that purchased 23,521 shares. As we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 54.05%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 63.54 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 700,000, updated 3 minutes ago, and then for the short vol fee rate, it is at 2%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the first, it's at 52.98, and then for the close of the second, which was yesterday, being at 54.05. So one thing that is very clear, XELA does have short squeeze potential. So there is a lot of volatility in this play. So if you decide to jump into it, just make sure you're paying attention to those areas of support so you can end up going in with a solid entry. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for XELA. So we see here on the inflow it's at 19.52, and then on the outflow it's at 16.92. So we ended up having an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 2.76, on the medium it was 12.28, and then on the small it was 4.48. When we take a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 3.81, on the medium it was 10.24, and then on the small it was 2.87. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for February the 3rd today it was negative 1.05 million. We could also see on the 2nd it was negative 1.88 million, and also on the 1st being at 0.32 million as well. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And of course, for the large represents whales, institutions, and funds, that's where we had more selling than we had buying. But one thing that is very interesting for the large scale orders for the past 5 trading days have all been outflow. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 45.65%. So yes, this is very high for a stock like XELA, but keep in mind, there's a lot of traders that are going in and out of this play, and it does trade at a high volume at the moment. You want to see this volume continues because then there's a good chance that the stock price will continue to increase. And I did see some momentum happening inside of the after hours as well. So now let's go into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for XELA in regards to the price action, when we're looking at support, you just needed to hold up above 75 cents. Even if it pulls back to 70 cents, that is perfectly fine. I did see it get to 84 cents inside of the after hours. So if it could build a higher low and be able to hold up the 80-cent level going into tomorrow if the stock decides to dip, then it could get very interesting, and then we can look forward to seeing that strong push to where it can get to around 90 cents. And like I was saying inside of the technicals, I want to see this stock get to $1.35 sometime next week. I know many people are putting out some big price targets out there saying that this stock is going to be going to 50 bucks and so on. Again, I tell you guys already, if you're going to be jumping into the play, you want to know what your entry and as well as what your exit is going to be. Do not let greed get in the way. If you are up 100%, then take out your initial investment or consider doing that, because I can't give you guys financial advice. And the reason why that's a great strategy to use, because at least you know if the stock decides to pull back or if it wants to crash to 5 cents, you are not losing anything. The last thing that you want is to be up 200, 300, 400%, the stock pulls back on you, and then all of a sudden you're in a loss. That is not a good feeling. I've heard a lot of stories, a lot of comments in my YouTube videos, and I don't want to see that happening again. Also, when we went on Fintel taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. So this is why when we're getting that high volume, we're seeing a lot of price action to the upside. And when we take a look at the chart, it is continuing to look bullish. It is forming higher lows. We are seeing there is demand in the market in regards to shares. So this is why I say do your homework, do your due diligence. Also, we had Amazon that ended up releasing their earnings, and since it did turn out good, it did bring some momentum in the tech sector for the after hours. So a lot of stocks are going to be benefiting from this, and of course, since XELA is a tech stock, this is why you want to make sure you're paying close attention to what the conditions are inside of the pre-market. If things are looking strong, then there's a good chance that XELA will perform well. You're also going to want to keep in mind of that pre-market volume. If you're seeing strong pre-market volume, then there's a good chance this stock will continue to move. So again, know those variables. Add it to your homework. I want to see you guys be successful in this play. Make sure you have the right entry and you know what your exit's going to be. Don't let that greed get in the way. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is year 2022, and I don't want you guys making the same mistake. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let's see how the stock performs going into tomorrow.